Good morning, everyone. I welcome the esteemed speakers here and our ever enthusiastic listeners. I'm Dr. Apurva Chauhan, and I feel immensely happy and honored, and I feel the pleasure to be a part of this session, to be the moderator of this session, which promises to extend innovations, solutions, and major breakthroughs in the EdTech ecosystem. I'm Dr. Apurva Chauhan, and I'm an assistant professor at Amity University Online. Now, before I welcome and introduce our esteemed, respectful speakers here, I would take a moment and talk about the hashtag EdTech Revolution 2020. So I wish to highlight upon this revolution that took place in the world of education during the pandemic in 2020. So it is a truth universally acknowledged that education all across the globe was at a turning point during the pandemic. I think we all agree to that. And it did supersede the concept of spatio-temporal reality or spatio-temporal dynamics. And here also, I believe my fellow academicians would agree with me that it is breaking and it broke the pristine way of looking at education and the process of imparting education. And at the receiving end, the students have now, and I would say are now D for dynamic. And when I say dynamic, I also hint upon D for diverse. And at the same time, I would like to tell that in my experience also, I've had the opportunity at Amity University Online to engage with students ranging from huge, varied age gaps, cultures, and ideologies. And on that note, I would like to congratulate and acknowledge our fellow academicians who have come this far in fashioning, in modeling, in creating education in such a dynamic, diverse, and digital form. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Now, I would like to take a moment and also introduce our speakers here. We have Professor Dr. Raaju Ganiesh, we have Dr. Koral, we have Dr. Nitika, and Dr. Nisha. And in the first, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Raaju Ganiesh, who is a professor and director, Center of Distance and Online Education, Bharati Vidyapeeth. Sir, it's an honor to be listening from you. So I welcome you to take the stage and guide us with your experience about online education and this journey of a student in online education system. Thank you, sir. So
thank you, Apurva. Thank you, Professor Avinash. Thank you, Dr. Priya. And thank you, the complete team, for giving me an opportunity to share my views. I have got a small presentation which I'd like to share. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So, this session on innovation, solutions, and breakthroughs in EdTech system. I would, like to start off with the history of online education, then speak something about the transition, then take in how the, online education as such faced a lot of problems, especially in India, the good, the bad, the ugly in India, and, the new education policy as such, which of 2020, which speaks about increasing the gross enrollment ratio in higher education from 35% to 50%, and that can best be had through online education. The new education policy also speaks about skilling the students, etc. And many of the faculty members thought that through the online mode of education this was not possible. I was hearing to the inaugural session, and when Dr. Priya also spoke about that online education was spoken about the second cousin or the poor cousin which is there. I also am not in favor of that, because the online education platform is such that it can really change the complete education, and that we have seen in the pandemic. The pandemic is still continuing. Many of the institutions have still not gone offline, and they still continue the online mode. And it has given, there are challenges associated with the online education. But let's have a look of what do we have. So the history of online education, as you see, in 1982, Ron Gordon, the chairman and president of Atari, started the Electronic University Network, and it progressed. In 83, he started delivering classes, and in 94, it was the Cal Campus, which developed a first online only curriculum, real instruction, that is the synchronous learning, which happened in the world, and the education was delivered. What you see now is and it progressed from 95, 98. These were the steps wherein 2002 MIT also brought in their free courseware, which was available. 2012 was again a year where a lot of changes happened on the online education platform. MOOCs started, that massive open online courses were developed and made available, and this was made available asynchronously for the student community or the learner community to be there and have it. And 2020 brought about drastic changes in the online education. Many of the faculty members who were reluctant or also to move into the online era felt it was not possible to teach maybe some courses through the online mode. They also agreed, and they had to come in. And so the transition, what I saw was, in my journey also, I've been associated with the online education for about 8 years now. And there was initially a hesitancy from the faculty members. They were not ready, and they said, no, we can't, we don't have that, even the technology was not there. And the challenge is like in a face-to-face class, we can very well gauge whether the students are understanding or not, and this facility is not there on the online, and that's why this hesitancy was there. But during the course of time, they got accustomed, then they become experts. It started on one platform like Zoom, etc. Then we moved to Microsoft Teams, then Blackboard, etc. And all the other platforms which were there, through which you could, Zoom your synchronous classes or your asynchronous sessions, etc. All could be used. And then, the transition started happening. But pandemic, was such a thing. Many places wherein, even the connectivity is a problem. There also, the online education, maybe in an asynchronous fashion, people created a WhatsApp video, and through the WhatsApp, they sent it to the students so that asynchronously the students could study. So that is how, the scenario changed. And now presently, even the facilitators and the learners have become adept with the teaching and learning, and things are going on. Online education problems in India, some of the problems and the challenges of the system are lack of sustained connectivity, which is a bane to the online education, and that is there in the rural parts. We still have this challenge, and once the connectivity, maybe the government of India can look into Ministry of Education, and they are working on developing the network so that this could be helped. Then as some of the faculty, which is because they are not trained into that area, they do have that challenge, and they face that challenge of not being comfortable on the online mode. But this can be removed with the help of training for them. Then again, as not all teachers are tech savvy, so if the teachers are trained properly, this can be removed. Lack of standardized content, specifically speaking for the school level, etc. Even in the higher education, something that can be done is if you can, we do have NPTEL and the Swayam platform available, where a lot of programs and courses have been created and put, which are available. but still there is a lack of standardization. If something can be done in this area, online education can pick up in a very big way, and the technology which is there can be utilized for the betterment of the learning experience for the students. Learners also, but online education has increased the screen time. You can very well understand the generation Y and the generation Z are most of the time, available on the mobile phones, etc. And because of the online education also being there, the screen time has increased. That's why this has created some mental health problems also, because the physical activities have reduced. But still, I am a big proponent of online education. With the technology in place, you can do a lot of things. The learners also in the rural area are not that tech savvy, so they also face a challenge. So if that can be improved, online education can go in a big way. Lack of formality in online mode. This is one of the issues, because in the regular face-to-face mode, etc., students at least had to come to the classes, etc., or if the institution had some dress code, etc., so they had to be available. So that formality is somewhere missing. But this is, something which is there with the online education. Then the good, the bad, the ugly of the online education in India. Learning something beyond the norm. Now, this is something where, people earlier, middle-aged people, etc., were not ready to come down and, get into education. Even if they wanted to, they were reluctant, because in the face-to-face mode, younger people would be there, and that would not have been possible. But now this, platform has given them a very good environment, and they can get into this is a good thing that can happen with the online education mode. Access to the international content and the content that is available by even the Indian professors, etc., from whichever institution you needed, whichever subject you needed, whichever course you needed, you can get into that. The bad part is, again, internet connectivity, which is a challenge, which has to be overcome. Then the environment of the face-to-face cannot be duplicated in an online mode. But this, the facilitator or the faculty has to accept, because this is going to be a game changer in the days to come. Getting a student response in the online mode is difficult, because in a face-to-face mode, the faculty could, call out the person and ask the person, but that is not possible. So that's the bad part of the online mode of education. The ugly part, socioeconomic divide, as I said, some rural parts where, because of even the socioeconomic conditions, sometimes access to the online content, etc., for the student is not available. Some examples which I have, shared, wherein, it says some of the students have even, in a class of 40 students, after 2 months also, some of the students have not come to the class. So this is the ugly part, because maybe of the socioeconomic divide, or maybe because of the internet connectivity, maybe because of the power supply, etc., they are not available. Around 5 to 8 students are completely absent, and the rest are fluctuating. Not everybody comes, because it is an online mode, and attendance, etc. Till the time you don't make it compulsory, these challenges would be there. So these are some of the challenges that the online mode faces. So this is the good, bad, and the ugly of the online education in India. Now, as I was telling about, the outcome-based education, which, the new education policy speaks about. This is where, EdTech has come in a big way and is helping us. The Bloom's taxonomy, which is, the foundation on which the outcome-based education is developed completely. So for that, if you see, I have just shared you a picture. This is something which is available on the learning management system. Now, most of the learning management systems which are available for a institution, for to adopt to, and for the students, everything can be developed over there. You can have the outcomes attainment dashboard available. This is a picture which shows, number of class groups, 3, number of students, 179, faculty, and it's a program of management accounting in PGP management accounting class. So what are the targets, what are the course outcomes, what are the course objectives, everything can be developed and put, and all the details, all the data that is required, all the data that is required from the students can be collected. Everything, technology has moved in such a way that everything is mapped into it. Whatever the student does, everything gets mapped, and you have a dashboard on which, even the topic level outcomes can be seen, and whatever attainment has happened. And this will give you what is required, when the new education policy speaks about, the student being able to get employability, and employability will only come if the outcomes are properly available to the students with the help of a rich media content, with the help of whatever the content that is developed, which makes a very effective and efficient learning happen, gives the student a very good experience. The learning will happen for the students in the higher education, and the challenges we were facing, because I've also handled placements at Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management. So I had seen over there, the students were not able to, even though they had got a good scores in their examinations, etc., they were not prepared for the interviews, etc. So this is something which will help the faculty member, the facilitator, and the institution in a very big way, and help them. Again, with the technology being there, the assessment quality has improved, and the academic integrity. So, as we went into the pandemic in 2020, many were worried how do we go about, and many thought of going for multiple choice questions, and many of the universities were facing a problem that even with multiple choice questions, etc., because the faculty was not in a position to develop the questions properly. But if you have a proper training given to the faculty and develop this technology, education technology which is available, can deliver the results which are possible. You can have different ways and means to assess the students, like multiple choice question, multiple response questions, fill in the blanks, subjective questions, numerical questions. Technology is there. Artificial intelligence, browser proctoring, etc., has given you such a important tool in your hand, that you can assess the student in a very excellent way, and proper feedback can be given to the student, so that even if any student is lagging behind with the maybe the assignments, assessments, etc., they can be developed, and proper help can be given to them through collaborations, etc., at the peer level, help from the facilitator or the faculty member, and things can be developed. Remote proctoring, as you know, the background, because many of the educational institutions in the pandemic faced this challenge, and that was, that brought in the need. If you want to go in for an, online examination, how do you go about to reduce any malpractice that can happen? Because if you don't have proctoring, there are chances that malpractices could come in. but artificial intelligence and cognitive services such as computer vision and speech recognitions helped the remote proctoring in a very good big way. The type of proctoring could be the face view. How does the proctoring does? It is basically the artificial intelligence which does the image processing and allows the candidate to go through the examination. You can validate their identity cards. You can see the so all this can happen, and this reduces. And remote proctoring is one of the tools that has been developed because of technology, and that is artificial intelligence. The complete student life cycle management, from the lead generation, now with the usage of social media, etc. Many of the students, etc., who visit the social media websites like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, etc. Leads are generated over there, nurturing happens over them, enrollment takes place, onboarding happens, you give the LMS access, additional resources in synchronous and asynchronous classes, learning happens, assessment happens. Like I told you, you have those tools available on the learning management system wherein directly you can have the assessments, the examinations being done, evaluation being done. You can deliver the results on the LMS. Placement as an activity can be done on the LMS. You can, on a placement board, you can, give the message to the student that so and so company is visiting and this is the norms, etc. Please apply. The student can apply. The placements can happen with the help of the LMS, and finally the student becomes an alumni for the institution. So the complete student life cycle can be managed. Everything is available. That's why the heading which I have given, so near and yet so far. Many of the institutions have still to adopt to this, even if it is a hybrid learning mode. If technology can be adopted, it can bring about a lot of changes which are good for efficient and effective learning for the student, and that is what we need. The future of the online education, giant steps can be taken with education technology, efficiency and effectiveness can improve. Blockchain and artificial intelligence have, if you see the platform like Quizlet, Duolingo, Perium, which do not even require a tutor, and the student can on his own complete programs. So if you prepare a course and it is made available on such a platform with the help of artificial technology, artificial intelligence, even the tutor not being present, the student learning happens, the student experience is such, which is so good. Virtual reality is something which is going to come in a very big way. Gamification is one of the ways which is going to take virtual reality and the learning experiences to a next level for the students. All said and done, quality is one thing wherein even with the help of technology, the facilitators and faculty have to look into it and see that there is no loss of quality for the delivery. Then a future of online degree as such, equivalence as per the circular 19/2018 of Distance Education Bureau dated 23rd February 2018. And something which I wanted to share also over here, March 2019, an agreement between India and Middle East countries for recognition of Indian degree. Because many of our students, after completing their programs, even in the online mode, would want to serve in the Middle East, maybe the Middle East, North America, etc., North America, etc., Canada and US. There's no issue much, but there was an issue with the Middle East countries, but which was also resolved when our ambassador placed in the Middle Eastern countries had an agreement with the United Arab Emirates, and the permission was given to them. And then the next generation of a digital learning environment, I have taken this image from University of Minnesota, and the image which speaks about the student being in the center, that it is a student-centric program, the interoperability of the technology, the personalization for the student, whatever happens, everything, whatever the content that is available to you, if you could just, go through the figure as such, the course material is available. There's a complete data house which is there. The learning management system is there. The dashboards are available to tell the students what is happening for the person as such. The facilitator or the faculty can know, where are the students placed right now, what is happening for them, where is student A, where is student B, everything, adaptive learning applications have been developed. All this, put together, personalization, analytics, advising, and learning assessment for individual, collaboration of the students, and accessibility and a universal design. If this is done, the next generation digital learning will take us into a different world altogether. And I again, come back to Dr. Priya. When she said we are the second cousins, I would say with such a model being in place by institutions, we can take the online education completely into a different era. With that, I would like to come to an end of my talk. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I'd be ready to take them.
Thank you so much, sir. And I cannot stop myself but to say that you have not just highlighted, you have not just underlined, explored, but you have also exposed the integrated working in an online education system. So I guess all of our listeners have been able to understand the working and the functioning of the education system in an online mode. So thank you, sir. And I would now, I would now like to invite Dr. Koral. She is an assistant professor in the discipline of MBA and BBA at Amity University Online, and she would be now talking about the internal working, as in the classroom, what goes around. So, ma'am, I would like to request you and welcome you to begin your informative speech.
Thank you, Apurva. I will just be sharing my screen. Hello, everyone. Greetings of the day. So I will be speaking on innovations, solutions, and breakthroughs EdTech ecosystem via the discussion forum and the student clubs. So I will be teaching on, or I will be sharing my thoughts on how the asynchronous communications tools such as the discussion forums and the student clubs, when successfully employed, can lead to better student engagement. So what does the 21st century business school graduate need? So many a times we talk about management education, and management studies have always been a popular choice among people who would like to advance their careers when it comes to related areas such as administration and handling the business issues of an organizations. And nowadays we see that more and more students are actually exploring the advantages of studying from the comfort of their own home through this online learning. So knowing how to apply the management concepts and expanding in the digital place is just half the battle won. So today's business management students, they must be able to comprehend the fundamentals of not just the academic knowledge, but also the digital technologies in order to excel in the corporate tomorrow. So in today's scenario, unless the management student has some adequate understanding of the applicability of the models, the business processes, it will definitely become a bewildering experience. So I would just like to show or share how one of our module, that is strategic management, is being structured. So our course modules and teaching methods have specifically been designed to help the learners to apply business expertise to their real life situation for business roles after their course completion. So let's take, for example, a module on strategic management. So here the students learn various strategic models, and then they are asked to apply these models to the case study from the scratch, researching and selecting various academic journals or from the company reports based on what exactly is the requirements of their task. And these are then posted on the discussion forums of the course page for the student engagement and their learning. So discussion forum, which is a tool for student-teacher interaction. So the advent of technology has introduced to us several tools through which learning can be enhanced to maximize the achievement of the student learning outcome. And one of the most successful tools that we use in online learning is the discussion forum. So an important element for the success of a quality online learning is interaction. And a well-structured, a systematic discussion forum is a very useful tool for encouraging the students to not just reflect on their learning, but also to share their experiences, their knowledge, their viewpoints, and interact not only with their faculty, but also with their peers. So with this, the students post their learnings, they discuss, they debate on issues, the theories, the concepts through the discussions, which is monitored by the faculty, which in turn leads to the production or a creation of a new knowledge. So the online forums, they actually provide a good opportunity for the students to actively engage in their learning process through effective participation, which happens in the discussion forum. And this also enhances the teacher-student interaction. So how do we do this? So this is how a discussion forum is being initiated. So this is a 6-day case-based activity wherein the students are given a task which they have to perform individually, and then they have to share their learnings. So here a case study is being given on Nissan e-vehicle strategy, and you have 6 days activities which are given to the students. So day 1 starts with posting your thoughts in terms of what went well for you on the case, what did not go well for you, or what did you find difficult, what will you try to do differently. So students are basically asked to start or join the discussion, and then they're supposed to add some of their key learning points. And then followed by day 2. Day 2 is they make use of the relevant module concepts that have been taught to them. Day 3 and 4 is to undertake a comprehensive assessment of the resources and capabilities that have been taught to them. Day 5 is again to bring all of the work together, and they're supposed to prepare a final presentation of both the outcomes of the analysis and the implications of the analysis. And this would be in the form of making recommendations to Nissan. And these recommendations can take any form, that is, they can identify the opportunities or threats that Nissan may not have identified, reflect different potential uses of resources or capabilities, or maybe even identify the weaknesses in the resource portfolio. And then finally, day 6 is sharing your learning. That is, we discuss the findings of the analysis, we review the processes by which these outcomes were actually produced, and the students are now asked to return to the main theme and learning objective of the tutorial or of the case. And they now have to reflect on the activities that they've undertaken, and the learning takes place. So this is how the students also post their sharing. We also have another way the discussion forum is initiated. So this is, the earlier one was basically an individual activity, and this is a group-based activity, which is done at the end of the module, wherein the students, they need to apply all of the module concepts that are studied throughout the semester. Now, since this is a very comprehensive analysis, the students are made to work in teams and they have to share their learnings. So such kind of discussion forums, they expand the students' possibilities for exchanging the ideas. And this is basically done with the aim of discussing topics that are related to the course contents and the activities. So an added advantage here of using the discussion forums is the flexibility that the students can learn and post their views anytime and anywhere. So the students can use these forums to digest their learnings, to discuss their ideas, to express their opinions, and of course, to share their learnings. So from my teaching experience, it is very evident that students who are generally less articulate in face-to-face lectures can utilize this discussion forum to mediate the teacher-student dialogue and increase involvement, and basically by students who are less eloquent when it comes to the face-to-face lectures. And this definitely allows the students to learn from each other. So this is what we have and how the discussion forum is initiated from our end. Apart from this, when it comes to the co-curricular activities, so apart from the academic learning, our students are also encouraged to participate in various student clubs. So here it's important to ask how much, if any, formal academic exposure to digital challenges is required for a modern management graduate. So this is just a snapshot of the student clubs that we have. So it's almost impossible sometimes to talk about certain companies like Google or Microsoft without having at least a basic knowledge of how technology runs behind. So it's just like talking about Google's profit stems from advertising revenues is just like saying that the secret to making ketchup is using tomatoes. So while the business student may understand how to use social networking platforms, because most of the youngsters today and even the elders today make use of their own platform, and they also understand what different concepts are that they have learned in business school. So they might be at a loss when asked to apply those concepts when it comes to a virtual environment. So now this is where the student clubs come into play. So these clubs are run by the students from all across the program, where they drive various techno, management, cultural activities all throughout the year. So these student clubs, they assist in learning to operate as a part of the team, which is a very important ability that are required for any profession. And they also give the networking possibilities through these student meetings and programs. And thus, this actually develops them to have a lifelong relationship. So the student clubs, they actually provide a forum for all students to bring their unique viewpoints and their life experiences to the university. And not only this, they also kind of offer endless opportunities for student leadership and participation beyond the classroom setup and the academic program. And definitely feedback is something that's very important. So at the end of every such activity, the students are asked to share a one-word feedback or a learning which is generated in the form of a word cloud. So this is just a snapshot of what the students have to say. And finally, what does this mean for the future of e-learning? So I believe online education is one where no matter at what stage you are in your career, whether you're still a student or you're working your way up the career ladder, if you have put your education advancement on hold, an answer to all your questions can definitely help you clarify your doubts. So for me personally, online education has changed the way of teaching. It definitely allows me to communicate with my students more effectively and efficiently through the chat groups, the video sessions, the polling, the screen sharing, and all the other features that it has. And definitely my students also find it more easier to communicate on our learning management system. Hence, my take on e-learning can truly be a rewarding and enriching learning experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Koral. Thank you for taking us through the formal academic learning and also the informal academic learnings. So thank you on that. And now I would like to welcome Dr. Nitika. She is an assistant professor in the discipline of mathematics at Amity University Online. And she would be talking about something really interesting when it comes to mathematics. So I give the stage to Dr. Nitika now.
Thanks, Apurva. I'll just share my screen. First of all, I would like to welcome all the viewers on the behalf of Amity University Online. And today I would like to speak about multidisciplinary approach and the holistic education in online learning and some innovative tools to teach mathematics online. So I would start with a virtual inaugural session reference with which has been done for World University Summit. And our Union Education Minister, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, has stated that multidisciplinary education and research is going to be a new normal as per the National Education Policy 2020. According to UGC as well, such education will help develop well-rounded individuals that possess critical 21st century capacities in various fields like humanities, arts, sciences, social sciences, professional, technical, and vocational knowledge. This idea is welcomed globally in the context that
presentation mode. Put it on presentation mode.
This is on presentation mode. So this idea is actually welcomed globally in the context that multidisciplinarity and holistic education will ensure unity and integrity in all knowledge. To support this idea, Amity University Online has come up releasing one of its own Spotify channel highlighting podcast as tool facilitating multidisciplinary approach. The first podcast is recorded by the trained professionals here in the studio environment on the topic of mathematical sociology. Seems a little bit weird, but that is the beauty. It breaks the mental barriers for students to be able to connect different academic disciplines and professions across the boundaries, enabling them to build their own multidisciplinary approach to learning and developing important skills in a way that suits their own style of learning and personal interest. Time and again, students entering the online environment, as we all have been talking about this, who are used to the traditional methods of teaching and learning wherein human intervention is involved at every step, consider it as an obstacle to be limited to a screen classroom. We at Amity not only ensures that the student is accompanied with relationship managers and faculty for his entire course journey, but also surpasses the drawback of being restricted to screen and make it a fun environment to learn with the help of digitalized tools and techniques. Like some of them can be listed as use of animations in mathematics to explain the concepts and infographics. Group activities are very popularly taken through the help of breakout rooms in our live sessions. Online tools like GeoGebra, wherein practical application of equations can be seen in the form of graphical manner. Analytical and professional tools like Excel are taught. And at the end, I can say gamified quizzes, which is a very integral part of our sessions. Now, being a mathematics teacher, I often speculate the fact that substantial population is actually afraid of this beautiful subject. In correspondence with this idea, I often motivate my students and sensitize the general public to overcome the anxiety of learning and implementing mathematics. According to a recent study done by curriculum and instruction professor in Saudi Arabia, one of the major factors influencing the students' attitudes towards mathematics was pressure of grades and evaluation patterns. Now here we must understand that technological progress in education system should be well correlated with the ground theories brilliant minds have worked upon for years. Yes, I am talking about Vedic mathematics here, comprising of 16 sutras and 13 sub-sutras inspired from Atharva Veda to perform clever mathematical calculations mentally. This provides humans ability to do mental calculations in no time and build confidence to deal with various mathematical problems. Assimilating this information with personal experience, I consent that this is the time to bring millennial advancement in mathematics learning specifically and methods of evaluation for same. Now we must look for highly innovative techniques for evaluation, where students can learn and interpret mathematical concepts as per their own experience with nature and create something new with existing knowledge of not only mathematics, but other academic disciplines as well, which again connects the dots to multidisciplinary education. This idea specifically defines altogether a different role for the highest stage of Bloom's taxonomy as well, pushing ahead the standard objective of existing evaluation methods for remembrance, understanding, and the application of mathematical concepts, which are nothing but the first 3 stages of Bloom's taxonomy. With this, I'll just end my presentation. Thank you all for listening to me, and I'm open for the questions if any viewers have.
Thank you, Nitika. We will be redirecting the questions at the end of this session. So right now we will thank you first of all for sharing your informative dialogue on mathematics and how to go through with that in an online mode. Now I would like to invite Dr. Nisha. She is an assistant professor at Amity University Online in the field of computer applications. So Dr. Nisha, I invite you to go ahead.
Yeah, I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much, first of all, to Apurva and to all. I'm grateful to the whole Amity family for giving me this opportunity to express my thoughts on the topic of online education. So more precisely, if I will say, I will be talking about the engagement tools which I am using for the online education transformation. So actually, online education is a bit difficult for the students. As you can say, as we are on the online platform, because students are doing much other activities when they are online. So it is a bit difficult in that sense. But it has also given the wings to many sections of our society. Because as of now, even children with special needs are continuing their education with this mode of with this online mode of education, right? So I have seen students with special needs also continuing their education in Amity by this online mode of education. So Amity University Online is doing a great work, right? So online teaching, if you will say, it is episodic, because episode by episode the teachers they take their lectures, but and remote, where we have to reimagine, we have to think about grasping the student attention. So to cater this particular thing, to cater to the student attention, we must be using some online tools which are available so that we can grasp the student attention, right? So in this, without wasting much of the time, I'll go ahead with my presentation and will let you know about the tools which I am using. So these are some of my students, BCA, MCA students, which I am teaching. And I'll be talking about one of the class which I take, like I take machine learning using Python. So during the class, what do they learn? What tool I use? So these are the course outcomes. So like after going through my class, the student will be able to apply the machine learning algorithms on real world problems. Now, how will they apply the algorithms to the real world problems? For that, I have to use some online tools. The goal is to understand the machine learning tools so that they can solve the problems themselves. So these are some of the snapshots which I have used. Like I have used Jupyter Notebook. So in Jupyter Notebook, I have given them some problem. Like I have given them, this was a just first class in which I have given them iris dataset. So this is a very popular dataset available online. I have given them this problem and use this Jupyter Notebook tool in which I help them to how to go about coding. So these tools actually gave the students the opportunity so that they are actually they are concerned about their future, because nowadays employability is one of the important factor, and being working online, how do they actually learn the things which help them to get employed, right? So like online tools are the very important ones which help them to work remotely, to learn remotely. So Jupyter Notebook and this is available online with the help of Google Colab. Colab is one of the tool. So here I'm showing you some of the snapshot from my class. Then I have this is related to this was related to practical giving the practical knowledge. Now if we will talk about some other subjects like theoretical subjects, then what I have done is I have given them some videos and shown them the videos, and according to them I am teaching them the theoretical subjects. So in the theoretical subjects, so if this type of tools can be used, like giving them some video sessions and interacting them via videos, so this help them build interaction between the teacher and the student. So after this, the student become very interactive. They feel very engaged, satisfied. They are actually curious to learn, and they actually become self-learners also in this process. So these are some of the snapshots which I have shared with you, like the feedback which they have given in the form of one-word answers via Mentimeter tool. So thank you so much. I invite any queries if there are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Nisha. Thank you for making us understand these tools and how efficiently effective they are coming out. So with this, I would also like to mention that this session has been able to highlight the academic innovations and breakthroughs from ranging from mathematics to management to even computer and media. And in the coming session also, we will be focusing and exploring the same. Now, if you allow me, there are some questions from our dear audiences, and I would like to place those questions for all of you. If anyone is interested to answer, please do. So I will read out the questions. Some very interesting questions have been put up. So, okay. This question is from Amlan Banerjee. It says that how do we best prepare students for online proctored exams? So I guess this question would be best suited to Professor Raaju. I think he would be the best to answer. If you want, sir, I can repeat the question.
Yeah.
Yes, repeat.
Okay. How do we best prepare students for online proctored exams?
Now, all the information that is required to be given to the student has to be shared with the students, and you can have a mock test so that the students get accustomed to how does the online proctoring work completely. If there are any challenges, what they face, generally the screen is locked and the proctor does not allow you. This proctor sends you a message that your face is not visible, that sort of a thing, all the warnings, etc. If the student can go through a mock session and understand, this will be the best way the student can understand the online proctored examination.
Okay, Thank you, sir.
May I, Dr. Apurva?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Raaju, for answering this. In fact, that is an appropriate answers that you have quoted already. We in Amity, we practice many webinars prior to the examinations. We do not less than about 10 to 15 webinars where we explain the pattern of the question papers, the pattern of the examination, how to write the examination, motivating students also to come and write the examination, because the percentile of the students are less as compared to the regular education in online education. So we adhere all this understanding, and we understand the difficulties of the student. Why? Because most of the students are working, and they have some fear factor for writing the examination. So we consider that such webinars are very, very important, and it is very frequently. And it is not only the director speak to the students directly, but we also motivate our concerned faculty to speak to the students, and in case of any queries during the examination they have. In addition to that, the student has certain queries for passing the examinations. So the criteria of passing the examination, we also discussed during that conferences and during that webinars. So these are, and the mock session, of course, we do frequent mock test for the examinations, and that is based on the pattern of the question papers, number one. Number two, we also float the previous year questions paper to the student for their better understanding, for their convenience to appear in the examination. This is what we can probably do. We are doing, and we can probably improvise it further in case of any other suggestions. So over to you, Dr. Apurva.
Thank you, sir. I hope the query has been well satisfied. Another question from the same audience, same student. How safe is the data submitted during a remotely proctored exam? What about privacy? So here, I guess we have a student who's asking this question, that how safe is our data that is submitted during this remotely proctored exam, and what about privacy?
Dr. Raaju, would you be able to answer?
If you want to go first, you can. I'll come after you. No issues.
Okay, the data in terms of submission of answer sheet is 100% safe, and wherein the possibilities of opening by any of the university faculty, or for that matter any individual, is also impossible, because this data is absolutely it is absolutely private, and only the controller of examination of the university has right to open such data. So therefore, you should be 100% assured that the data cannot be fabricated. Yes, Apurva.
Okay, sir. Thank you. There's another question regarding the use
this
of
is
technology.
100% encrypted data, so it cannot be.
It is 128-bit encrypted. What so I understand cannot, right now. Yes, we are yet to go to 256, but 128-bit is there.
So it cannot be filtered or cannot be disturbed.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so can I take the other question now?
Yes, please.
Okay, so
provided you have the time permits you to ask in this session.
Yes, I guess we can take one last question here, which is regarding the use of technology in education. Are there any particular technologies you feel excited about? So anyone would like to take this question?
What is the question? Can you repeat that for us?
Yeah,
yes. Regarding the use of technology in education, are there any particular specific technologies you feel excited about?
Any faculty member would like to answer this?
Yes, sir. Actually, you see, today is the era, and the future is the era of artificial intelligence and data science. So the most promising technologies for the students to work upon is artificial intelligence and data science. And not only for the students, it is for the working professionals also. Now they are also upgrading themselves so that they can learn the future technologies. So not only artificial intelligence and data science, the most promising technologies include blockchain networks as well. So blockchain technology, which includes cryptocurrency and working upon the Ethereum remote platform on which you can develop the blockchain problems. So that also are one of the promising areas in which the students can learn, work upon. And Amity University Online gives the chance for all the students, whether it is working students or the non-working students, they can pursue their dreams by admitting in Amity University Online. So I think that's all.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for this very informative and rich session. I feel I feel very good about this session, and thank you for being a part of it. And we'll meet up in the next session, which is now going to take place in the same way: innovation, breakthrough, and major breakthroughs in the edtech ecosystem. Thank you, everyone. Ankita, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Apurva. Okay.